U.S. President Donald Trump turning up the pressure on trading partners to get tariff deals done. He has sent out letters to more than a dozen countries threatening to reimpose rates first announced in April.
On the list are top trading partners and historical allies, Japan and South Korea, who face a potential 25% tariff on their goods starting August 1st.
As you see, we have these beautiful letters that the president has signed. This one is to the President of the Republic of Korea. Original signature on that.
The White House displayed one of the letters in which the president warned South Korea that if it imposed retaliatory levies, the U.S. will respond with an equal increase. 14 letters have been sent out threatening tariff rates of 25 to 40%.
Now, on the top end, 40% for Laos, down from 48% when President Trump first announced his reciprocal tariffs. The new rates are generally lower or very close to the initial numbers, 40% for Myanmar and 36% for Thailand and Cambodia. Asian nations dominate the list, 35% for Bangladesh, 32% for Indonesia. 25 for Japan, South Korea, and Malaysia. Now, Japan and South Korea together account for more than 7% of America's total trade. And Seoul says it will step up talks with the U.S. to achieve mutually beneficial results and clear up any uncertainties.
The first August deadline is the latest delay to the Trump tariff policy. The White House rejected suggestions that trading partners will not take the letters seriously due to shifting deadlines.
They will take the letters seriously because they have taken the president seriously. And that's why the president's phone, I can tell you, rings off the hook from world leaders all the time who are begging him to come to a deal. And this administration is working hard to ensure those deals are in the best interest of the American people.
A major trading bloc, the European Union, will not be getting a letter from the U.S. setting out those higher tariffs. The Financial Times reports both sides are expected to sign a temporary trade deal this week that will keep tariffs at 10% while those talks continue. And Toni Waterman joins us now from Washington, D.C. Toni, take us through the language of the letters. I mean, to what extent would they motivate the recipients to take steps to get that deal done?
Well, there's certainly a rhythm to these letters, the president posting all 14 of them on his social media platform. And this first batch is mostly aimed at Asian nations. And besides informing them what their tariff rate is going to be, ranging, as you mentioned there, from 25 to 40%, and also higher tariffs on any items that are transshipped. These letters also leave the door open to these tariff rates going even higher, because in these letters, the president says that whatever rate was set is not high enough to actually close the trade deficit, which is supposed to be the whole point of implementing these tariffs. He's also saying that if companies want to avoid the tariffs, they should build their manufacturing plants in the United States. And if they decide to do so, that his administration is going to do everything possible to expedite the approval process, get these approvals, he says in the letters, in a matter of weeks, which would be at the, lightning speed here to get them approved that quickly. The U.S. also in this letter says that they will perhaps consider adjusting the rates lower if the countries that they were talking to open up their markets to U.S. companies, or if they eliminate these trade barriers that the U.S. and the president claims is making it very difficult for American companies to do business. So there is a healthy dose of threats in these letters. Whether or not that motivates these countries to capitulate to the Trump administration, we'll have to see. But Trump officials are saying that August 1st is now the deadline. The president has signed an executive order pushing that date back. So there's 3 weeks left to negotiate here.
And Toni, from the start, President Trump had warned that his trade policy will be aimed at both friends and foes. What's the possible risk that he could face by targeting historical allies such as Japan and South Korea, especially if trade talks with them fail?
Well, the biggest risk is that this all just backfires on the president and therefore on the United States. These countries could retaliate, imposing tariffs of their own on U.S. products that are imported to their countries, although Trump has warned in these letters that if they do that, he's going to ratchet up these tariffs even more. But any sort of long-term levies and subsequent drop-off in demand and exports could force these countries to diversify away from the United States. It could possibly push these countries closer to China and the Chinese market. And, these close trade ties go well beyond just dollars and cents. It's a lot more than just the economy. It's something that is often taken into consideration in other aspects of these relationships between countries. So this could ripple out much wider than the White House is perhaps anticipating. I mean, they're really banking on the fact that the United States is the world's largest economy, that companies want to be selling their products here, and they believe that this will ultimately supercharge the U.S. economy, even though it is us, the American public, that economists say will be paying for these tariffs, will be shouldering these higher costs hitting our pocketbooks.
Okay, Toni, thank you so much for that report. Toni Waterman in Washington, D.C.